Good morning, Sandesh. A warm welcome to you on behalf of APAC News Network. APAC News Network, we are headquartered out of Noida and we have presence in Hyderabad and outside India. We have presence in Dubai, Singapore, and Malaysia. So primarily, till now, our focus has been in the government, healthcare, and education verticals. In fact, we are perhaps in the last 1 year the only B2B media which, in one of the connecting programs, even had Prime Minister Modi in our platform. Plus, we in our connecting program we interact with a lot of bureaucrats and ministers. Now we are also focusing on enterprise IT and BFSI and looking at ways which how the synergies between IT and the other string or verticals can be done. We deliver through print magazine, digital videos, as well as through our different events and other platforms. So, primarily, today's discussion, what we'd like to understand one is you can first update about the milestone products and solutions which are there. Then, in the some of the surveillance use cases which some of these products uh, play a role in. Then we would like to compare with if we look at the overall surveillance market, there are two segments, if I may say. Some very high end, the European players who have a high end solutions, and there are a lot of Chinese vendors who provide more economical solutions. So, in between these two segments, where does Milestone play a role? Then would like to understand some of your use cases, the sectors where you are witnessing more traction and how they are coming, and we'll take up specific areas from there. So maybe the best would be if we can start with what are the products and solutions which are currently offered by in your portfolio.
Firstly, I would like to thank Rajneesh, you for inviting me for this interview and for this discussion. And it's a privilege for us to be part of this your APAC network. Basically, see, Milestone Video Management Software has been there in India since 2011. Milestone was founded in 1998, and we've been in India operating our offices since 2011. Uh, Milestone has a various range of product lines which caters to a low to mid level, and a high end security surveillance system. And we have something called enterprise software, which supports redundancy, failover, and it integrates with various different IoT platforms, video analytics platform, and a command control kind of a scenario. So we cater basically to all kinds of surveillance requirements, starting from a retail store to a healthcare, to all the government critical infrastructure requirements like oil and gas, and then we also cater to the smart city surveillance projects, and we are also very strong in the enterprise IT space. If you take top names in ITS software services, Milestone is you will find Milestone everywhere in their premises. So we have deployed thousands of camera licenses, our platform in all the IT sectors. So basically, we are present. Surveillance is there everywhere, and surveillance is a requirement for every companies, every organizations, every government entities. So if you see, we are present across the spectrum, basically from small requirements of a retail store to a large smart city surveillance requirement where there are thousands of cameras.
So, since this customer base you are saying is so varied, I'd like to understand in terms of one, how your product segmentation specifically is being done, and within those, how is the customer segmentation also mapped to the product segmentation? So the high-end products, which are the verticals, what sort of use cases there, and the small entry-level retail products, where exactly do they go? So how is the product segmentation done, and how is that mapped with the customer segmentation?
See, there are requirements which is very basic, and from a surveillance requirement, where there is a requirement of recording the videos. They put cameras and they record the videos. It's a very basic requirement. In a retail store, they will have some 5 to 10 cameras or maximum 25 cameras, and they will record. This is a very basic requirement. And as the segmentation goes, if you take care of multi retail stores where they want a centralized management and centralized monitoring, so then there is a next phase where you find a lot of cameras across multiple retail stores, where which is managed centrally and monitored centrally and locally. This is the second kind of requirement from the customer. Then there is a enterprise requirement where the video is it is in earlier times it was called video images, video recording files and all that, but today it has become a video data, and data analytics, and AI as and the behavioral analytics has come into picture when it comes to video data. So because the number of cameras have increased so multi-fold, where you have thousands of cameras, and the first primary requirement of any video is that how you secure them. Uh, First is security. Second them is uptime, because any loss of video uh, is not acceptable to any customer, because any 1 minute of loss or 2 minutes of loss of video is not acceptable. That is something which is a very high requirement from the customer, especially in the enterprise segment. So our software not only provides 100% uptime, we provide also we our software has Milestone has a capability of creating multi-level redundancy of failovers, and ensure that there is no video data loss. That is one thing. Second thing is the security, the cyber security. We use a very Microsoft CNG encryption engine, which is one of the high-end encryption engine used by Microsoft, which is part of our platform, which ensures that there is no data theft or any kind of hacking from outsiders. See, when it comes to cybersecurity, the stronger your end-to-end encryption is, stronger your data is protected. Milestone also supports GDPR. GDPR is one of the European organization which has a policy for cybersecurity. So Milestone is a GDPR compliant. So cybersecurity and data loss, data should not be lost. These are the two important parameters for any customers today. So this is the two critical important parameters, and then comes the analytics. How, when you have thousands of cameras, how you manage those cameras, how you pick the critical incidents, how because it's very difficult when you have thousands of cameras and petabytes of storage. How you uh, pick what incidents, how you manage the incidents, and how you can create situations where you can easily respond to uh, any abnormalities happening from a surveillance perspective. So this helps. Video analytics helps to investigate. We support also forensic analysis with our partners, and there are IoT devices we integrate on a sensor base. When you talk about a city surveillance, city smart city projects, where they talk about devices, sensors, where you need to manage traffic. You need to also ensure that any accidents happens on the road. You need to give an emergency response on a quick basis. traffic light violation, no helmet detection. These are some of the parameters which video analytics helps cater, and we provide a very strong response time to the government agencies who are using this platform. So these are different parameters in which today the surveillance platform is evaluated. It is not only a video monitoring tool; it is also a tool which impacts the transport system in the country. It impacts the safety of the people in the country.
Okay, so I wanted to understand for some of the high-end solutions you mentioned about one, the ITITS and those segments, and also about the smart cities. What sort of specific use cases are there for the smart cities? Which are those smart cities that you are working with currently? And also for ITITS, which are the companies you are working with, and what sort of use cases are there?
See, we cannot take names because these are some of we have signed NDAs with a lot of the government agencies and also the IT infrastructure companies. We cannot openly take their names because it is more related to security of the data, security of video data, and what kind of platform they are using. Uh, uh, we are under NDA to reveal any names, but on an on an uh, on an average, we have done a lot of city surveillance projects in India. One of the surveillance for traffic in eastern part of the country. We have a big setup there where we have provided 2,000 plus for camera software platform for 2,000 plus cameras, where the traffic police uses the video data to manage traffic, manage all the incidents happening on the road, and the traffic police carries. We have something called a Milestone has something called a mobile app, Milestone mobile technology, which uses which is used as a camera. If you see today in smartphones, all the smartphones you have camera, right? That 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 device on your hand becomes a camera. So police, if there is some incidents, if there is camera there, not there, they can uh, use the police camera or their personal camera to stream that video to the central traffic monitoring station. That is one thing which we provide as a solution. And then uh, emergency route, when there is very congested and you need to move people in an emergency situation, these cameras helps. We have managed to create routes, and we also, as Milestone, there is a technology on maps where we can create a GIS map, and we can actually track the movement of the vehicles through different set of cameras, so that we provide safety and security to the people of the city. And when it comes to IT ITS, we have the top 5 or 6 companies in India who are very large IT ITS companies use our platform, and they are not in 500,000. They are more. It is more than 10,000 cameras they have in their premises. So in what their requirements are different compared to the traffic requirements, but we cater to both their requirements. The platform is built in such a way that we can cater to. We have the flexibility and responsibility to use all those features which is embedded into our platform. So IT ITS, it is more in current situation, uh, the crowding, because we need to manage social distancing, crowd management, and so that there is enough spatial distance between two people. That is something is managed through our platform. And if you talk about this IT ITS, the campuses are huge, where more than 100,000 people work in each campuses, which is uh, which is which is covered with a huge perimeter. We also have solution which takes care of perimeter intrusion detection. We There are technologies which has thermal. We can create a lot of heat maps. Based on heat maps, you can provide an emergency response system to cater to any kind of intrusion into the campus. These are some of the technologies. And when you talk about ITS, the access control, because since there are 100,000 people, there will be so many access entry exit points. We integrate with a lot of top access control software companies across the globe, and we provide a very much integrated system as Milestone with the access control system, where you can actually push the video data onto the access control platform, and you can actually create all the events of the access control, forced entry, tailgating. All these are the features which also can be viewed from a video. And what happens, how video is important is because it's not only taking care of the people safety, or looking after the safety of the people. It's also evidence, because if there are some situations where you need evidence, video is one of the tool which can create evidence and which can showcase as an evidence. And evidence in the court of law is very important, and that is the reason, if you see the deployments of number of cameras both in enterprise ITS and in traffic and in smart cities is going to increase, because evidence is very important for any investigation into any civil or criminal offense.
Okay. So three areas, more the technical points I would like to clarify. Earlier you mentioned about using the video analytics. So I want to understand what exactly in video analytics, the how that functions, how are the things. Second, I would like to understand in terms of the you mentioned about this access control and working with the software, the access control software. So this integration, is it done? Is it a joint approach with that access control software solution provider that you approach the market? And the third point is, in India, in a lot of cases, bandwidth is an issue. So in some of those cases where this thermal mapping and there, uh, is there a possibility that due to bandwidth, there might be some compromise in the security level?
Yeah. To answer your first question on video analytics, see, video analytics has always been a very specialized field, and video analytics have been evolving in many in the past. Video analytics, what we saw, video analytics was basically motion detection, maybe 15 years back. But now video analytics have evolved to a state where they talk about facial recognition, where we can have face. If you see in a lot of the airports in India, the facial recognition is going to be is very critical. Now you don't need a boarding pass. You can just use your face as a boarding pass to enter into the airport premises, and it is under testing. One is face recognition, which is getting evolved, and then there is a lot of AI based behavioral analytics, which is very important, because like for an example, where you have a train metro station, and you deploy a behavioral analytic tool on the edge of the camera, and if there is any change, like anybody is trying to jump out of the station into onto the tracks. This is something which a behavioral AI-based analytics can capture and give you the alert, so that the authorities can take immediate action. And also with IoT sensors, now every device is connected to internet, and all small sensors, maybe temperature sensor, light sensor. There are so many other sensors which talks, which can give you an output. These are all the important parts of a video analytic technology, which gets integrated with us as Milestone as well, and we provide the solutions. Answering to your second, I just missed your second question. Was can you repeat your second question?
second was an access control. Do
Yeah.
you go to market together with the access control?
Yeah, so Milestone basically is an open platform video management software. We have our own SDK. We call it as software development kit, and we have our APIs provided on the internet. If anybody wants to integrate with our platform, they have to just go onto their website. They have to provide their credentials and just download the APIs, and they start talking to our platform. They can pull video from our platform. They can provide events to our platform. So it's so easy. So across the globe, if you take any access control system, it's all are integrated on our platform. So using this SDKs, APIs, the integration takes place, and all the access control manufacturers across the globe use our platform to provide solution to their customers as well from an access control perspective. And even access control is in India is always a very specialized and localized platform where the local requirement of each customer is different depending on their security norms, their policies. And we as Milestone understand that very well, and we try to give the customer solution based on that. And it is a very good union where you have a localized access control system with local requirements getting integrated with a platform like Milestone. So our advantage as Milestone is the openness with which we integrate with multiple access control platforms.
Yeah, and the third part was on the bandwidth constraints, whether that poses a challenge for the quality of the
Yeah.
feeds in some cases.
See, in earlier times when the cameras were launched, they came with a VGA resolution, and the compression was MPEG-4 and all that. That compression used to create a huge number of files, which was very difficult to transmit at that time from a bandwidth perspective. But today things have changed. We have now a compression technology called H.265, which we support as Milestone, and that is a very highly compressed video format. And with bandwidth costing reducing, and if you see the data centers sprawling across the country because of the data protection laws in India, where you need to keep all your data within India, this is also creating a huge network of backbone. Even in cities, if you see the Calcutta city, they have their own dark fiber for communicating throughout their communications, especially when it comes to video. So more and more cities and more and more smart cities are deploying dark fiber across uh, their locations so that there is no bandwidth constraint. Obviously, there is limitation when you talk about a cloud, when you have to move the data onto the cloud, or where you are trying to record all the cameras on the cloud, where you don't need any hardware storage on premises. There we face challenge because the kind of data bandwidth required, there is there is an issue there when it comes to direct recording on the cloud. But if we can design a solution where it's a combination of premise, on-prem, and cloud, where you are doing a local recording of the video on the premises and then slowly moving it to the cloud. That is a possibility in current situation. So bandwidth obviously is a challenge, but it is I think it is going to change in coming years because the kind of network infrastructure India is building with Digital India campaign, we will have that uh, problem solved uh, going forward.
Okay. So now, coming more to the on the business side, what sort of go-to-market model Milestone follows? Again, especially as you are addressing a very varied range from the entry level to the high end. So, what is your GTM strategy, and what are the initiatives under that?
Milestone has always followed a two-tier model. we directly don't supply or provide solution to the end user. There is always a two-tier model where we have a distribution network and then we follow a channel partner model. The channel partners are the system integrators who will be catering their services to the end users. But we ensure that our distributors are trained and certified, and the partners who are deploying our solutions are certified on Milestone. We conduct very much regular training. We believe that training is something which will create a right kind of partnership and also a right kind of ecosystem, so that the ecosystem and the partner network supports the customer. So we generally follow a two-tier model, and training is one of our very essential, significant part of our business. What we do here in India.
Okay. And one thing I'd like to ask, since you mentioned about the channel network here, what traditionally we have seen is there is a strong security surveillance channel, and increasingly, what we have seen, many of the IT channel also moving into there, and there is a convergence of the two network. So, the channel ecosystem that Milestone has, how is it? Is it more the security surveillance partner network, or the IT partners also coming into the fold?
Yeah, see, I've been in the industry for last 18 years now, and it's all started with analog cameras, DVRs, and we had those traditional security partners, generally who were into the fire alarm, fire systems. They eventually became security partners, installing cameras and DVRs and all that. But we have come a long way now, and maybe 10 years, 12 years down back, when the IP cameras was introduced to the market, to the industry, that is when the requirement of IT came in, because IP cameras works on a IT network, with IT servers, IT storage. You need a specific technical knowledge and skills to deploy those kind of solutions. So what happened was, there was 12 years back or 10 years back, a lot of these IT channels slowly diversified themselves into catering to the IP CCTV requirement, and also the traditional surveillance CCTV integrators. They also learned the skills and the knowledge required to build an IT kind of a network. The convergence has been from both the side. There were very traditional security partners who could not get up to the skills. They moved away from it, and they continue to focus on the fire alarm and fire extinguisher business. Whereas a lot of IT companies today, we see almost 70 to 80% of the IT companies who were traditionally into networking, server storage deployments, are into surveillance. So this has also helped a lot of IT partners to diversify and converge into the surveillance, because IT, I think 7, 8 years back, it got saturated, and lot of convergence and consolidation happened in IT, where a lot of the companies got consolidated into one or two companies. Today, we hear about only one or two companies who are into IT, two or three companies who are catering to 80% of the business. So there is a need for the IT partners to diverge, and it happened. And it is a continuous process. As the technology grows, and as more and more IT skills and knowledge is required in deploying these solutions, there is a need of skill, which even the traditional security partners and IT partners are trying to build within their organization.
Thanks. One more area, the entry level. So, that level of business, because it would be very rudimentary, and the margins would be very low also. So, what is the rationale of continuing in that entry level, those cameras for retail shops and the things that you mentioned in the, so what is the relevance of uh, still continuing with that part of the business?
See, the business thrives on the demand. It's all morely demand and supply. Uh, and since there is a requirement, even the government, if you, I stay in Bangalore, and in Bangalore, you see a lot of houses. There are not much apartments here. They have their individual houses, and there is a mandate from the local police to have surveillance, CCTV cameras, at least one camera pointing at the gate, because there has been cases where elderly parents stay alone at homes. So that is a requirement even in residential places. So surveillance is required everywhere. There is a demand for uh, basic surveillance where they just want a camera monitoring at the gate or road, and that has to be recorded. So that will always continue to thrive. Obviously, the when you talk about margins uh, gets reduced because of the competition, and there are so many competition now, which is uh, across the spectrum, which creates this margin wars. And it is, I think, it is something which is very common to any industry. It is not very relevant or only to a security industry. So the requirements are going to be there for cameras, for low end requirements where you don't require a very high level of intelligence in camera or the all the software system. They need a basic video recording. A small retailers, small, because we are a country with a huge population, and we have so many retail stores. The smaller requirement, the entry level requirement is always be there going forward as well.
Okay, so in conclusion, what we'd like to know from you is if we look at the next 3 to 4 quarters, so what sort of are going to be your key focus areas that can be in terms of new products, new segments, or any other expansion? So what are going to be the main plans or the focus areas?
See, main focus areas is that when you have technology has to be used responsibly. Our message to our partners and to our customers is that when you have the technology, you need to use it responsibly. That is something which we will be working continuously in future. And from a technology perspective, IoT and AI is going to be the future. We are planning to invest, and we are planning to also work with a lot of our IoT partners. If you see a lot of homegrown, India is a country where you find so many startup companies coming with their IoT applications. So we intend to work with them. We intend to make them our partners in a process where we are also enabling them to build business across the video platform. And third thing is the cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something which we are very keen with the certification. We ensure that our products are hack proof, and we our customers' data is protected. The video data is protected. Also, a cloud is something which is going to be the future. We are also focusing on how we how how we try to engage the cloud environment. We are also, Milestone is part of the AWS marketplace, and we have associated with Arculus as a platform which will take us into the next era of cloud. There are other application partners like TigerBridge whom we are very closely working, which supports multi-cloud environment. So these are some of to conclude, is some of these are the key areas which we will be focusing in future.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rajneesh. Thanks for the time, and thanks for your time. And really appreciate it.